Hey, welcome. What if I told you that one of the simplest words you know, like a word you've probably already said today, actually holds the key to this massive global idea? Well, we're going to find that key, and it all starts right here.
And that word is room. Simple, right? 4 letters. It's a word we all use every single day, and we don't even think twice about it. It's the space you're probably in right now. It seems about as basic as a word can possibly get.
But how simple is it really? Yeah, that's the real question, isn't it? Because, as we're about to find out, sometimes the most ordinary seeming words, they're like little trapdoors that lead to these surprisingly deep, fascinating ideas.
All right, so let's start peeling back the layers on this thing. First thing you'll notice is that this one simple word wears a few different hats. It's way more versatile than you'd think. Okay, so first up, we've got the one we all know. Room as what they call a countable noun. It's a physical space inside a building defined by walls. You can count them. 1 room, 2 rooms. The source we're looking at gives a perfect example. We need a long, wide room because many people will be at the meeting. Super straightforward, clear, exactly what you'd expect. But this is where it gets kind of cool and a little more abstract. The meaning totally shifts when room becomes an uncountable noun. So now it's not about walls at all. It's about the idea of space itself. Like the source says, it's just a place with nothing, only air. So, when you say, hey, I need more room to work, you're not asking for another office. You're just asking for some open space. And it doesn't even stop there. Believe it or not, room can even be an action, a verb. I mean, look at this table. You can room with someone, which just means you share a space. The example they give is perfect. I roomed with Ryan all 4 years of college. So let's recap. We've got a place, a concept, and an action, all from the same 4 little letters. Wild, right? So a countable noun, an uncountable noun, and a verb. All of that packed into one tiny word. But honestly, that's just the warm-up. There's this little clue, a single sentence hidden away in the dictionary entry that's going to blow this whole thing wide open. Okay, let's dive into this clue I found kind of buried in the Wiktionary source. It just looks like a simple note, right? But trust me, it's the key to the entire story we're unpacking today. Here it is. Just this one line, right at the top of the entry. Room is on the basic English 850 list. Okay, what on earth does that even mean? It's not a definition. It's like a tag or a label. And this right here is our first breadcrumb on a much, much bigger trail. So yeah, that's the big question for this whole explainer. What is the basic English 850 list? And what in the world does it have to do with a simple word like room? And really, the heart of this whole mystery is this number, 850. It's not just some random number. It is the key to a really big idea. All right, let's get to the reveal and see what this list is all about. This is where our simple, everyday word connects to this powerful global concept. So, what is it? Well, the Basic English 850 is a carefully chosen list of 850 essential English words. It was actually designed to be a simplified version of the language, a tool for super clear, straightforward international communication. Think of it like English stripped down to its most fundamental building blocks, so that pretty much anyone, anywhere, can communicate big ideas. And this brings us right back to where we started. Remember how room could be a place, a concept, and an action? That's exactly what makes it so powerful, and why it's so essential for a list like this. You see how the source itself categorizes the word by all its jobs? It shows us precisely why this one word can do the work of like 3 or 4 others. It's a perfect example of efficiency, a key piece in this whole system. Now we get what this list is, but that kind of leads to an even bigger question, right? Why? Why does a system like Basic English even exist? What's the point? And this is the really brilliant part. The goal of a system like this, like Basic English, it isn't to limit what you can say or think. No, it's the total opposite. It's all about taking the complexity out of the delivery so that the idea itself can be shared more widely and understood more easily. It's about using language to build a bridge, not a wall. And that brings us full circle. Because that philosophy, that's the entire reason the source we've been using, the Simple English Wiktionary, even exists. Its whole mission is to explain our super complex world using this core, simple vocabulary, making knowledge accessible to everyone, from students to people learning English as a second language. So let's wrap this all up with the big takeaway from our little journey into one very, very common word. I mean, just think about where we started with the word room, a word so simple we barely even notice it. But just by pulling on that one tiny thread, that little note about a list of 850 words, we unraveled this whole fascinating system designed for global communication. Pretty cool. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. We just saw how a simple word can be a key that unlocks a really big idea. So, what if the biggest ideas in science, in art, in our own lives, what if they could all be explained with the simplest words? That, right there, is the true power we just uncovered.